It's looking like quiet is the new normal for real estate activity here in Waterloo region. I'm going to tell you all about it starting right now. April 2025, another slow month for real estate here in Waterloo region, just like I've been talking for the past year at least. How slow? Well, we're looking at a 10-year low for real estate sales volume if you take out April of 2020. Remember April of 2020, that was back when COVID had first hit, and they had actually shut the province down and people weren't allowed to buy and sell. So we'd be just above that as far as slowness. And we're down 24% on sales volume compared to the 10-year average. Even looking at last April, April 2024, we're down 11% on sales volume. Now, the odd thing about this though is prices haven't really moved at all. I mean, there's a little bit of variation up and down, but not crazily so. And the biggest change we're seeing in our marketplace is actually number of listings. We had 1,550 listings for sale this past April, and that's actually a 10-year high. So that's opened up an awful lot of opportunities for buyers. And I'm going to talk about that when I start talking to you about prices. I'm going to start off with detached. Detached properties came in at $920,000. That's pretty much unchanged from March and down about $18,000 compared to April of 2024. Now, as far as inventory, we've got 2 3/4 months worth of inventory. That means we're still in a seller's market, but only ever so slightly so. Another quarter of a month's worth of inventory, we're into neutral market category. So it's definitely an improved situation for buyers, but it's still a seller's market. Now, talking about semis. Semis is a very weird market. They just don't build that many of them, and not many of them actually change hands either. So with semis, our average price in the region is $661,000, and that's essentially unchanged from March and essentially unchanged from last April. They've got one and a quarter months worth of inventory, so very little sales in there. I think it was 71 or 72 listings, and we had 60 sales. So yeah, it's a tight market, and not very many properties change hands. And that, of course, obviously is a seller's market as well. Now, talking about townhouses. Townhouses, we're looking at a $617,000 average price, and that was down ever so slightly compared to March. And I think we were down, if I'm not mistaken, $40,000. Yes, $40,000 compared to last April. So a bit of a hit for the townhouse market. My suspicions, though, is that a big chunk of that is going to be the condo segment, because in townhouses, you've got roughly 50% are freehold and roughly 50% are condo, and condos are just less desirable because they cost you more money. And I expect that's where we've seen a price reduction compared to last year. It could be driven by the investment community, and I'm going to talk about that a little later in this video as well, so I'll come back to that point. Now, talking about our last segment, apartment style condos, we're right at $475,000, my apologies. That is, let me see, I got to think about that. That's up $14,000 compared to March, but we were down $12,000 compared to last April. So it's trading at a fairly tight band, but a little bit of variation month over month and year over year. The biggest change with apartment style condos, though, is inventory levels. We have got almost 8 months worth of inventory, almost 7 months worth of inventory. And that's huge. That's offering up all kinds of opportunities for buyers, and prices have come down as a result. What I think is going on, though, with that segment is the investment community has abandoned it to a certain degree. Nobody's interested in the pre-construction stuff. A lot of projects are being finished off, and there's a glut of unsold new stuff on the market. And if you can't get the rents you need, you've got high condo fees, you've got high carrying costs because interest rates are still relatively high, the numbers don't work, and the investment community is kind of bailed on the whole condo thing, and that, I think, is why we're seeing this increase in inventories. Just wanted to follow up, though, again, I don't know if I mentioned townhouse volumes. Townhouse volumes, we were at 4 3/4 months worth of inventory. So townhouses are a neutral market category, and that's certainly a much improved situation from where that was. Now, I'm all done with prices. I'm all done with inventories. I want to talk about what's going on in the marketplace. Now, anecdotally, I've got a bunch of stories because I'm working with buyers all the time and sellers as well. What I'm seeing with buyers is multiple offers are still happening. If the property is priced really, really low, like underpriced big time, there's crazy bidding wars going on. I was involved in 2 semi-purchases. One we didn't bother offering at all. It had 11 offers and it went for 170 over asking. And the other one we bid on, also a semi, but an older one, it was 200 grand under where it should have been. It had 14 offers. We were 125 above asking and we were shut out. So that's crazy. This is still happening, but some of the things that are changing is in the case of our when we offered on, the winning bid actually had conditions and you just didn't see that 2 or 3 years ago. The other case, the other semi, it went firm. So you're still seeing the stuff going on from a couple of years ago if the list agents got it priced really, really aggressively. What I'm seeing, if properties are priced close to where the asking should be, you're getting 1 or 2 offers or very little activity at all or no activity. We actually ended up putting a bully offer in and we gave them a little bit of a premium. You've got to, but we got our bully offer in with 2 conditions. Fantastic. So if you're a little bit aggressive, you can get stuff done. But if you're on the other end of it and you're selling and your property is substandard or you've got weird paint colors or you haven't done work to freshen the place up and you're overpriced or say where it should sell for, nobody's coming. And I've had several times, other clients I'm working with, they're wanting particular geographic areas. So, there's homes coming up in these neighborhoods a little bit infrequently. So there's some stuff we were looking at, my guys are kind of on the fence about offering, so we don't offer. Anyways, one guy's called me 4 times because he's getting nothing. So that's my advice. If you're selling, you've got to have the property looking fantastic. Do everything you can to get it marketed looking good. And maybe try that super low pricing strategy as well, because if it's near asking and you've got anything wrong with it all, nobody's going to come and you won't get it sold. Now, talking about what's going on and coming up with the marketplace, I think there was a lot of fear because of Trump. He's still a threat. The tariff stuff hasn't really stopped, but at least we've got a prime minister in place now. We didn't know if we were going to have Poilievre or Carney. That's settled, and I think Carney, economically, the guy's a genius. So let's hope that we've got a good guy steering the ship, and because of that, maybe the market will calm down a little bit and selling and buying activity might actually pick up. I don't think it's going to go crazy though if it does pick up. I think we're going to see maybe a little bump in prices or maybe not. The slowness is going to continue, but I don't think it's going to be as dead as it's been really this spring. I think we could see a little bump up in activity. Anyways, that's all I got for you. Thanks so much for watching and have yourself a fantastic day.